Application of polynomial functions. H of t equals to t cube minus 3t square minus t plus 3 models a dive where h is height in meters relative to the water surface and t is time in seconds after diving off the boat. Determine the height of the diving board. Sketch the function h of t for the interval t equals to 0 to t equals to 3 and determine how long the diver was underwater. I'm Anil Kumar, and with the help of this example, we'll try to understand how to factor a polynomial and answer such word problems. Now, first part of this is determine height of the diving board. That means the height when t was 0. So part A, we can find the height when t was 0. That means h of 0. We get 0 minus 3 times 0 square minus 0 plus 3. So that is the y-intercept, 3. So any standard polynomial equation, the constant represents the y-intercept. So when you are sketching the graph, which we have to sketch here for t equals to 0 to 3, at t equals to 0 we found it is 3. So let us say this is 1, 2 and 3. So that is the starting point. So remember that in a polynomial function, whenever it is given in standard form, the constant represents the y-intercept or the value of the function at x, the independent variable, equals to 0, right? That is what it is. Now, second part of this question is sketch the function h of t for interval t equals to 0 to t equals to 3. So one way is that we can make table of values, find different points, and then connecting those points we'll get our graph, right? Another way is we can factor the function and then find the, in this case, t-intercept. Since the independent variable is t, h of t is the dependent variable, the t-intercepts, and then sketch the graph. So what we will do is we'll find the t-intercepts. That means to factor this particular polynomial. Now if I have to factor h of t equals to t cube minus 3t square minus t plus 3, then how should I start? We have to look for possible factors. Possible factors will always be factors of the constant term 3. That means plus minus 1 or plus minus 3 are the points where the function could be 0. So one by one we'll try these values, right? So let us try the first value, 1. So that is, what is h of 1 equals to? Let's substitute t as 1, so we get 1 minus 3. Well, we can write 1 square here, minus 1 plus 3. Now that is equals to 1 minus 3 is minus 2, minus 2 minus 1 is minus 3, minus 3 plus 3 is 0. Now we get h of 1 as 0. That means that t minus 1 is a factor. Now to get the other factors, what we can do is we can perform long division, right? So if I perform long division, then we can get other factors. Let's do the long division now. So I'm just thinking, let me do it on, okay, on this side itself. Or we can do synthetic division also. So let's do long division here, okay. Now we have t cube minus 3t square minus t plus 3 will divide by t minus 1, since 1 is a factor. Now you have to take the first two terms, t cube, so we'll multiply by t square. So we get t cube minus t square, and when you take away you get minus 2t square, bring down minus t. Now we can multiply it by minus 2t. minus 2t will give us minus 2t square minus 2t, and when you take away that you get t. Minus minus becomes plus, right? So you get minus 3t, and here we have plus 3. Now we can multiply by minus 3. Let me push this paper a bit so that we can see what's going on here. So minus 3t plus 3, and as expected the remainder is 0. Remainder has to be 0 since the value of the function for 1 was 0, right? So now we can say that h of t can be written as the factor t minus 1 times another factor t square minus 2t minus 3, right? So we'll continue from here. So we can write h of t as equals to t minus 1 times t square minus 2t minus 3. Now this is a quadratic function which we can factor further. We have t minus 1 minus 3, that means 3 times 1. We'll take 3 as negative since we want addition to be minus 2, right? So we can write this as t minus 3 times t plus 1. So that is how we can factor the trinomial t square minus 2t minus 3. I hope you remember we are looking for two numbers whose product is minus 3 and whose sum is minus 2, and the two numbers are minus 3 and plus 1. So we get three different factors. Now if we have to plot, t minus 1 will give you 0 at t equals to 1, right? So let us say this is t equals to 1. T minus 3 will give us 0 at 3. So 1, this is 2, and that is 3, right? T plus 1 will give us 0 at minus 1. We are not considering that since in this particular application t is greater than or equal to 0. T minus 0 has no meaning, right? So these are our points. Now to sketch a good graph here, what we should do is we should take some values in between and then sketch it, right? Okay, anyway, knowing about the shape of a cubic function, it is kind of a S-shaped graph. We can join it with that shape for the time being, right? So you can always get some more values here and then sketch it. So we'll just join it with a shape like this. So that is a graph from t equals to 0 to 3, right? So that is how it is. You can always find the values in between, couple of points, making table of values to have a better graph. Okay, but that is how it is going to look. So we've done part B, which is sketch the function h of t for the interval 0 to 3 t values, right? Part C is determine how long the diver was underwater. Now, wherever the height is below 0, right? 0 is the water level. So below 0 means underwater. So this is the portion when the diver is underwater, right? So how long it is from t equals to 1 to t equals to 3 that the diver is underwater, and therefore we can write answer of part C as between t greater than equal to, we can write greater than 1 and less than 3, right? So that is the time during which the diver is underwater, and the units are in seconds. We'll write seconds here and meters as units for the height. So our answer here is from 1 second to 3 seconds diver is underwater. So that is how we can solve such questions. I hope you appreciate that such questions can be solved by factoring a polynomial, and we purposely took a very simple example to illustrate the process of factoring. To factor, we are looking for the factors of the constant terms if the leading coefficient is 1. Try them one by one. As soon as you get 0 for any particular value of the factor, that means you found the first factor. Dividing the expression by that factor gives you another factor, which will be quadratic in this case, and applying the understood techniques for quadratic functions factoring, you can further factor the polynomial and get your result. I hope that helps. Thank you and all the best.